Howdy folks, thanks for tuning in. I had a couple videos I just did around the Behringer 2XM, and I'd mentioned that I was going to get a couple more and work my way up to a 6 voice. That day has come. Got my third 2XM. So there's that. Just what we need. I've got this Behringer 3-tier Eurorack stand, which will allow me to put the 3 SEMs in here, so it's just kind of all one big unit. Now, to handle mixing duties, I went ahead and picked this Art Accessories 3 stereo channel mixer. I mean, this is kind of actually crucial because, you know, each of the SEM units, they're 2 voices and they have 2 outputs, right? So you can pan them left and right. They're stereo, effectively. So I needed something that would allow me to have 3 individual stereo inputs that I can mix out to 1 out. And then I was looking on Sweetwater, and this is what they had. And yeah, so hopefully that works out good. I've never used this before, but I've used a lot of other art stuff, and it's always been pretty solid in my opinion. So no shame there. And then last but not least, there was one thing that I mentioned on my other previous videos was, you know, my review was just how bad those tiny little pots are. And I think the cure for that is I'm going to do what I've done to my Moog modulars. I'm going to do the same thing I've done to a couple other Behringers. Now, this is the best I could find, and I know purists out there are going to be like, that's ugly, it doesn't look anything like an SEM. It's close enough for me. I really don't care. But that's what I'm going to put on there, because that's the best I could find. And but this is effectively going to work. It's for round shaft or D shaft, but because it's got a little set screw, I'm just going to drive that thing straight into the plastic. I'm not planning on taking these things off anytime soon, so even if it does scuff up the plastic, my plan is to always have knobs on there anyway, so I'm not too worried about ruining the side of the plastic shaft knobs, but this is going to make things so much easier to dial in specific sounds, so I'm really super excited. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and put it all together, and I'll pop this camera back on here as soon as I've got that done and show everybody what I've got, and I'll play some demo sounds, dial in some patches, and do some jamming. So yeah, stay tuned. All right, folks. Well, here it is, the SVS, the 6 voice, which I don't think was ever a thing, but it is now. And I'm perfectly fine with the 6 voice polyphony. That's more than enough for me. But as you can see, I added some nice tactile knobs. And I have to say, it makes all the difference in the world to have knobs that are just easy to move. And it just makes programming each one of these so much faster and easier and just more enjoyable. I really can't imagine doing it with the other knobs. I couldn't go back to that. So I'm really glad I invested in these, and I highly encourage everyone to do so as well. If you get these, definitely invest in some knobs. I got these for like, I don't know, like 80 cents a piece. Online, I'll put the link down below. But yeah, I was on the fence about the knobs on the right-hand side. I mean, they're kind of close together, and, you know, these aren't really changed that often, but just for consistency, I put them there. I might end up taking them off. I don't know. Again, they're a little crowded over here, but it does look good. So I've been testing it out, and you can do 6-voice polyphonic and 6-voice unison mode for some monstrous fat stacked super mono synth lines. I'm going to show both configurations. The gotcha is you have to connect your main unit to a computer via USB to change the modes between poly and unison inside. There's no way to do it on the front panel, which is unfortunate because that's kind of how the original 4 and 8 voices were. Is that you had a switch on the unit itself to switch it to uni. This you have to go unplug it, plug it into a computer, reset it. You get the idea. And then here's the other thing too, is if you've already got this connected to your DAW via MIDI, USB, you're going to have to shut down the DAW and then open the Synth Tribe to make the switch inside and then reopen your DAW again. So yeah, it is a bit of a process, but wait till you hear it. More than worth it for sure. What's also great about this is that the patch bays, you now have a total of 6 LFOs. You just need to get some splitters, which I'll show later. But you take the output of a control voltage and you just split 6 ways. You could route it to your filter cutoff and then to the filter cutoffs of the other 5 modules. And that effectively frees up 5 more LFOs to do similar things with. And so, you know, the more you add, the more you get. So you can split VCO1's LFO to modulate it and then have 5 other ones to do whatever you want to with it. The downside of this, though, is the patch bay functionality is extremely limited. If you consider just this one synth, it's only got 7 inputs. And, you know, someone complained on my last video, oh, I didn't cover the patch bay at all. Well, yeah, there's not much to cover, man. I mean, it's boring. There's really nothing there. So now you know why. There's not much to it. It's basically just filter cutoff, pitch, and a couple other things. There's no pulse width modulation. You know, this is very limited in the routing options on the patch bay. So that said, what I think is the coolest is, again, going back to the patch bay and control voltage, you can add another dimension of expressivity by modulating something with Aftertouch CV, as I'll show. It's just really brings a new element to it. But that's later on. If you want to skip ahead, that's cool. It's in the chapters below. Quick tip. So when you do go in to change the mode, whether it's from polyphonic, polychaining, or unison mode, make sure to reset all your 2XMs to factory setting before trying to pair them up, especially when adding another to an existing setup. It seems like it just kind of retains some of that memory from previous setups, so you have to kind of reset. It doesn't always, at least for me, it didn't always work just changing the settings in the app and hitting enable. It seemed like it's a little finicky, so I just reset each one and it seemed to work just fine. And despite what anyone says online, I mean, I know there's a lot of, you know, naysayers. Oh, of course, it's Behringer, right? There's always going to be some naysayers out there. But there's a lot of people that are complaining about the polychaining functionality not being implemented correctly and it doesn't work or it's flaky or blah, 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 blah. I'm here to tell you 100% rock solid to me. In fact, I've actually got this keyboard going through another keyboard, my Arturia, because I want to use the control voltage output of my Arturia key step with Aftertouch. This keyboard, it doesn't output control voltage though, unfortunately. So what I had to do is I had to hook this up to my key step and then set my key step to output control voltage based on Aftertouch, and then I control effectively the Arturia key step with this thing, and it just passes all along the MIDI. So, but what I'm trying to get at though is that this is going through another MIDI keyboard. So I'm passing the MIDI from here into the Arturia, which is then passing it along to this. So even with daisy chaining MIDI devices, the MIDI implementation is rock solid. I have had 0 issues, no hung notes, no missed notes. All I can say is it's rock solid. It works every time. No problems whatsoever. Okay, so without further ado, I guess I'm just going to go ahead and do some patches. Maybe I'll stop here and there and just kind of explain what I'm doing. First thing I'm going to do is do a unison stack mode, and then we'll go to polyphonic mode, and then I'll end it with showing you the polyphonic aftertouch, which is the nice thing, where if you use aftertouch control voltage, every parameter on each voice is independently controlled. So it's, you know, it's got its own filter, cutoff, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, so basically, if you're routing this to, like, say, for example, the cutoff, filter cutoff, you're going to have, by nature, polyphonic aftertouch, because aftertouch on one key does not affect the aftertouch on the other. It makes for some pretty crazy expressive playing for sure. Absolutely amazing. It's such a dream come true to actually have something like this. And I have to say, Behringer has done an amazing job. I've had 0 problems with this. And it's just like anything. Nothing lasts forever. I hope this lasts forever. It's probably not going to be very serviceable, but I do have to say this. This has been some of the most fun I've had playing synthesizers in a long time. I've been playing this for hours and hours, for days, and I have not stopped. And my family's going crazy. But that's just a testament to how awesome this is. Okay, so how do you tune all these oscillators? Well, I can think of a few ways. One, you can tune each voice individually, one at a time to a tuner, or you can tune the first voice with a tuner and then bring up each consecutive voice into the mix and tune each one of those to the previous ones by ear. Or instead of a tuner, you can just use the onboard test tone to tune them by ear. There's plenty of ways. Okay. Turning down all other ones. So just have this one. I've got the other second oscillator off, so I can just get this one dialed in. A. There it is. perfect because, you know, again, you want it to get all crazy and out of tune. All right, now try to add some variation. So it's pretty fat. Let's change them all to pulse. These are the main ones. Let's try to pump up the pulse width on these. I gotta keep pinching myself, tell myself this is real. I mean, it's just insane. That's so lush. It's unbelievable. I don't want to get rid of that. One of the fun things to do with these is to program a chord. So you just play a chord with one key. So let's try that. each one's LFO is out of sync with the other, so it's modulating not only the pulse width on VCO1 of each, but it's also modulating the synced frequency of VCO2. But they're all out of sync with each other, so it's just insanity. All right, so this is the control voltage I have coming out of my keyboard to control the filter cutoff with Aftertouch. Just had to get one of these little splitters, basically to split off the signal. Seems to be working pretty good.